Good evening, everyone. Good evening to the council members and department heads and to the public at large. I'd like to call to order our caucus for our city council meeting for the Lackawanna City Council for Monday, July 11, 2022. In reviewing the caucus or the agenda, the caucus is an opportunity for council members to ask questions and deliberate the agenda items. And we have the various department heads here who we call on from time to time to supplement any of the information that we may need to help us make a decision. To that end, items 1 through 4 are administrative. Move on to item number 5. And Councilmember Muflahi sent a substantial letter with several items of concern in her ward, and I would like to call on Councilmember Muflahi to give us a brief summary or synopsis of what you're asking to be done and what direction you would like this to go.
Thank you, Council President. In my letter that I sent to the City Clerk to put on the agenda today, there are several items to be addressed, to which the first letter includes several bullet points of a discussion that I had with Mr. Marius Owens. I believe he's the owner of 206 Ridge Road. However, the property in question is 222 Ridge Road, which we believe is owned by the city. However, there is much discussion as to maintenance of the fence, city lights, and street lights, maintenance of the property in and of itself, whether it be the cleanliness of the property, mowing of grass, cutting down the shrubs, and then lastly, the discussion of the slaughterhouse and Mr. Owens's concerns regarding such. They're all bulleted within the correspondence that I sent in with my request to add it onto the agenda. There are, we're not looking for an immediate remedy today. However, these are discussions that I've had with him, and apparently he's had with my predecessors in the past. However, it was never formally addressed to the City Council or to the department leaders here today, and I wanted it to be official and on the record so that way there can be some kind of response in the future after further looking into the issues at hand. For example, the maintenance of the city fence, which is the first bullet, I would request that we receive and file it and request a response from the DPW and law enforcement once we figure out who owns what and what responsibilities each entity has. And then moving down to the second bullet point, I would ask that we receive and file and then request a response from DPW, law department, as well as development. Again, seeing who's responsible, if these are feasible goals that we can reach as far as improving the north end of Wilkes-Barre, implementing some kind of light for that area to illuminate it for the residents of that building, the multi-unit complex there, and then lastly the slaughterhouse, which is more of a receive and file and request response from code enforcement, development, and then the law department. Are there anything written in the city laws that state that certain structural barriers be erected for the prevention of animals? I know there's odor emanating from the property and such. So this is more of a putting it on the record for us to discuss today briefly. However, have it then be worked through the appropriate departments and then request some kind of response from them.
Very good, thank you. And a suggestion might be that since there are several items, that those be broken down, maybe voted on individually and referred to the appropriate department heads for response to the council. Now, just a question on the Wilkes-Barre lighting. I know you visited the site. Have you noticed whether there are existing poles there that could accommodate the lighting structures? Do you remember?
Off the top of my head, I do not. I do recall seeing some pole that connects electricity and maybe other types of utilities. However, I'm not sure if there's anything that's suitable for city light.
Okay, there may be numbers on those poles that could identify them more specifically to to the electric company to, so that they could address that. Just a quick side to our Commissioner of Public Works, Tony, do you know offhand, the Wilkes-Barre area, whether those are, at one time had been existing streetlights?
So that property a long time ago was actually back at Friendship House. And there was another building, I don't know if it's St. Hyacinth's had a building there. I sent everybody pictures of the area, so you can clearly see there are poles back there. That would have to be up to you if you want to illuminate an area that's basically a lot that we're probably gonna sell eventually. And, you know, we're not in the habit of lighting up personal property, you know. Eventually, behind those bushes, there's our shooting range and our training tower for fire department. Those will have 24-hour lights on them. As soon as that tower's built, I already ordered a meter box to be put in over there. So I'm hoping by the end of the year, we'll have lighting all back there. Also, the tree line, the fencing does need some repairs. I could do that, but I think the tree line and the vegetation in that area is good because it blocks the view of whoever's living in this home to see that. They don't have to see the gun range or the tower. I mean, if they want to put their own fence up on their property, privacy fence, that's totally up to them. But I mean, a little trimming to knock down some of the vegetation, but I would say I would keep those trees up just to block, you know, any noise or anything from that side of the fence.
I agree, and I did mention to Mr. Owens that he has free will to put up a fence if he wishes, but in the meantime, he does have concern of that certain area where it is, that people can walk freely through it. I know there's shrubs and stuff, but there is a defective portion of the view.
That's a repair we could make.
Very good. Thank you.
Councilmember Muflahi, is there anything else you'd like to address pursuant to your letter?
I believe I addressed them all, and most likely it'll just be conversations and correspondences to and from the appropriate departments.
If I recall correctly, there was some signage you had requested.
Yes, that's on the second letter. I'm sorry, I thought you were referring to just the letter. That
Well, I didn't know there were two separate ones.
Yes.
And having reviewed your letter, I think it's very appropriate, but I would ask that you consider at this time either tabling it or receiving and filing it, because our intent is to establish a traffic committee in the city to address various other issues that even you and former council member Mr. Ingram has brought up, and members all over the city. I just mentioned a phone call that I had taken here in City Hall this afternoon regarding street lighting, but that'll come on later. But if you consider maybe taking that direction regarding the signage that you requested.
Absolutely. In the event that we establish a traffic committee with expeditiously, not something that we look forward to maybe discussing and then implementing next year. So this is something that we can get off the ground and hopefully work towards some kind of solutions. The letter that I issued to the board as well as department heads, it's not specific just to speed bumps. However, there are multiple things and factors that we should consider. Something that is very important is the children with autism. There's many children in my district that have autism. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're completely handicapped or disabled. However, they do have impulsive behaviors, and running into the streets is one of them. A parent can be very vigilant, but kids get away. So keeping that in mind, as well as, of course, the multiple parks that are in the first ward, as well as other parts of the district. However, I am focusing my attention to the first ward, as well as just making drivers vigilant that there are kids that can come out of nowhere chasing a ball, or simply because of their them having autism. And the statistics are, I remember when it was 1 in 166, and that was just 5 years ago. Today it's 1 in 27 boys and 1 in 6 116 girls that identify with autism, and it's a broad spectrum. These are all information. This was all statistics and facts from the CDC, and City of Lackawanna is not immune to that. So I think with the presence, increase of police presence, as well as ticketing them, I'm not in objection to ticketing speed drivers that speed recklessly or drive recklessly. And I think this is a discussion that we need to have. And with the implementation of the traffic committee, I think we can make these happen. But I've even gotten calls where parents said, we're going to order speed bumps and face the consequences from the city if we have to. And I told them that that is illegal and that they should not consider that. However, they said they'd rather face the consequences and suffer a fine rather than having to bury their child.
Well, and that's understandable, but it might not be just a fine. If there was an accident caused by those speed bumps, there's lawsuits and liabilities. So.
I explained that to them as well, but that's the urgency that I'm facing with constituents in my district.
And just so you know, our setting up this traffic committee is imminent. But there's been some discussions, and Director Wolf is part of that. We look for direction and guidance.
Can I just point out one thing too? If there's individuals in your area that have a child that's disabled, they should address that directly to the city. They don't have to go through you. They should contact us immediately, because it is an issue that if, you know, when I read your letter, you seem to be talking in general terms. But if there's a specific parent that has something with a disabled child, I don't want them to have to wait. So I just want it. So my question, I guess, to you is, has somebody complained to you that has a child with autism or something?
Yes and no. So there are parents that have this general sense of concern, and then there are children that I know specifically that do have autism that their parents haven't brought that to the table. However, I can't ignore that I recognize their children having autism.
Well, just so you know, I mean, the school district as well.
Right.
If people that have a child with a disability comes to either the school district or the city, there's things that we can do. So I just wanted to make sure there was no specific complaint regarding that.
Thank you, Rick. Valuable information. Councilmember Muflahi, anything else?
That is it. So I guess what I'm requesting today is to receive and file, to table and direct it to the traffic committee, as well as hopefully launching that soon.
And then I would ask that you take the lead on that one during the general meeting when that comes up.
Very good. Yes.
Mr. City Clerk?
Just to make clear now, there's two communications that you sent. So referencing the table, is that the one regarding autism?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to table that, and pending any recommendations, probably soon to be creating that table.
Yes.
The first communication regarding 222 Ridge Road, what are you requesting that?
So there are three areas of concern. So the first one is maintenance of the city fence. I'm requesting to receive and file and request a response from DPW and the I believe code enforcement. Yes.
Okay. All right. And second one regarding the city street light.
So that was to be received and filed, and then request response from DPW and law department and development.
And then lastly, of course, is the slaughterhouse.
Correct. I'm requesting to have it received and filed, and request a response from code enforcement, development, and then law.
Okay, so there'll be, on your first communication, there'll be two separate votes, and then there'll be a fourth vote on that. Okay, as long as I know when we get it.
Thank you. All right, moving on to communication from division and department heads. Item number 6, Director of Recreation, Brian Laxo, requests City Council approve use of Galani Park Monday, August 22nd at 7 p.m. for second appearance of the touring production of Shakespeare in Delaware Park. Insurance was provided. Any council member have any issues to address with that. And Mr. Lexo, I understand, was very successful last year.
Yes, and that was in a limited capacity due to the lingering COVID restrictions imposed in the state and the county. We had to have people who were interested in attending get on a call list, and it was capped at a certain amount. This year, we won't have any such restrictions, so we're hoping for an even bigger turnout. It was popular last time, but it was tough to gauge how popular it was because of those restrictions. So hopefully it'll be bigger and better.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, can I add something? As someone who frequents Chase Run Park, awesome, it's a great event. And I was so excited to see it here in Lackawanna. I was unable to attend, however, I'm so looking forward to this one. And if there's anything I can personally add or contribute to this event, I'm so excited.
They're pretty self-sufficient, but if there is anything that we need, I'll keep that in mind. And I'm glad we got a second bite at the apple to come and see him.
I heard they're looking for a Lady Macbeth.
I have that. That's my role.
Looking voice for it.
Thank you, Mr. City Clerk. Okay, anyone else on agenda item number 6? Not moving on agenda item number 7, again from Director Laxo. Request City Council approve use of Victory Playground Soccer Mini Pitch by Independent Health Soccer for Success program every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from July 18th to September 9th, 2022. Proof of insurance is on file. Brian, anything on that?
No, just a continuation of Soccer for Success's longstanding programming here in the city. They were instrumental in us getting the soccer mini pitch at Victory Playground, and they've got priority for their programming. Anything that they want to do, I'm happy to set up for them and give them the venue to spread the game as is their goal. So we have a great relationship with them.
Thank you. Anyone on the council have any comments, questions? Item number 8 from the city attorney, request City Council authorize mayor to execute attached contract extension agreement between city and administrative unit local 815 unit 6775-02. Blue text is on file, clerk's office. Anyone have any questions or issues to address on item number 8?
Mr. Council President,
Yes, sir.
if I may.
Yes.
Rick, could you just explain number 6? It goes all the way back to 2000. Here, I'm gonna read it here. Got it.
Number 6?
Here, number 8.
All the number 6.
Oh, proposal numbers, yes. Okay, so first of all, I don't know if you recall, but about 3 years ago when I was first here, there were 4 contracts that were in the hole, I would call it. Each contract was at least 2 years in the hole. The secretarial contract or the administrative union gave up 2 years of back pay. There was some small lump sum payments, and they accepted raises which were substantially below what was given to the other unions after we had settled their contract. So this contract extends it now so that all 4 contracts will now expire in the same year in 2025. It gives them a raise which is still slightly below what was given to police and fire, but closer to what was given to the DPW. I think it's a good contract, and overall, if you average in all the years, it kind of takes care of all the unions now. As far as number 6 goes, to Mr. Sirdike's request, we deleted a subsection that was no longer pertinent, I would say. It addressed former employees or issues that were no longer needed under this current contract. There was a clause in the old contract that said, in addition, each bargaining unit member who is between grade 1 through 6 will be upgraded $200 per year until they reach grade 7. As you can see, it began with the contract year, August 2004. I wanted that language out of there because I didn't know what it was no longer pertinent. It was everybody had already reached grade 7, but I didn't want any new employees thinking we're going to give them an extra $200.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you were going back.
No.
18 years or something.
No,
Oh, okay, I got
so this, it just deletes a useless
All right.
clause.
I got it.
Let me see what else we added. So in addition to the raise, we've kind of given, code enforcement gets called out on fire emergencies, and we're now giving them a 3-hour minimum.
Rick, I think the other significant thing for the public's digestion is the same benefits that had been extended in the future have been reduced, or extended in the past, are reduced to future hires.
Yes.
As of, what is it, March 1st, 20?
Yeah, we have a new salary schedule for new hires. So this really, I mean, the administrative union, as you know, is not a big union these days. It's been substantially reduced, but it gives them a competitive contract now.
Thank you. Thanks for your efforts and all the work you did on that, Rick, again. Anyone else have any questions on that item number 8? Moving on to agenda item number 9. From the city attorney, request city council review, approve, and authorize mayor to execute attached CDBG agreement between city and county of Erie for Cleveland Avenue paving project curb replacement. Agreement provides for additional CDBG funds to complete this project. Complete text is on the clerk's office, at file at clerk's office. Anyone have any questions on that? Mr. DeSantis?
So it's just a language issue on that. It's, should have been milling, paving with ADA curb replacement. A lot of residents are thinking the whole street's getting done. And Mr. Anderson explained it to him. He tried to talk them all down. So I just want that to be known to everybody. It wasn't a full replacement of all the curbs on the street, just the ADA ramps on the intersections. Those curbings are being replaced.
Okay, thank you, Mr. DeSantis. Anyone else have anything to add?
Yeah, on the question,
Mr. Surley.
do we have to note that in the ordinance as far as just put ADA in front of curb replacement? Does it need more
No,
than that?
because the agreement speaks for itself, but this is just a necessary component that allows the city to collect money through this grant
Right,
to finish this project.
okay.
So the terms of the project's already been, it's detailed and it's specified in the contract.
Just the residents read it a different way, so we're just trying to clarify it for everybody there.
Very good, thank you.
Actually, we were on it today and no one had anything. And Carl was sitting on his porch watching them work.
You didn't know?
That was fun.
All right, anyone else? All right,
Is this incremental money that we appropriated from meetings, like, 2 meetings ago? This fall?
all right, anyone else? Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 10. From Director of Public Safety, Director Wolf. Request City Council approve to sell the following police vehicles. All proceeds from the sale will be placed in 22-23 police budget account A3120.250. Newer replacement vehicles will be purchased for the department. Anyone have any questions, or Director Wolf, you want to speak on that?
No, if there's no questions, it pretty much speaks for itself.
So can I, as a point of order on these, whenever vehicles are placed out of service or in service, can we make sure that Jeff did a certified copy of the resolution gets sent to the controller and to the city attorney's office? We just want to make sure it gets to the insurance company. We don't,
Sorry, what was your, I was looking at.
so when the resolutions when this gets passed, when you do your,
Okay.
the day after, give us a copy of the passage, whatever you type up, the certification, to the controller's office, and to the city attorney's office, so that we can notify the insurance company. This way, we make sure that our vehicles that are in service are always up to date, and the ones that we take out of service get deleted immediately to save us a few bucks.
Very good.
That's all.
Thank you.
With that, would plate surrender suffice? Is that how business is conducted? You guys surrender the plates of these vehicles or transfer them?
Surrender.
Yeah, I think the plates just get transferred, but I think our insurance companies just need to be notified when we dispose of a vehicle, so that they don't need it's not like a homeowner where you gotta send in the plate registration and all that stuff for the,
Do surrender plates.
yeah. So.
All right, anyone else on item number 10? Not moving to item number 11, Director of Public Safety. Request City Council approval to sell following police vehicle, which had previously been purchased through federal system forfeiture funds statute. New replacement vehicle will be purchased for the department under the same statute. All proceeds from the sale of this vehicle will be placed in the police department asset forfeiture account as required by federal statute. Anyone have any questions of Director Wolf? right, moving on to item number 12, from our Director of Development and City Controller, request City Council approve attached ordinance creating budget code A3620.0250, code enforcement vehicles, increased budget code A3620.0250 by $34,250, reduced budget code by same amount, grant matching funds by $30,000, and reduced budget code A3620.00466, demolition of buildings by $4,250. Anyone have any questions or issues to discuss on item number 12? Or either department head, controller, or development? Thank you. Anyone? Now we'll move on to agenda item number 13. From our city controller, in furtherance of the attached estimate of record from New York State Municipal Insurance Reciprocal date June 29, 2022, and insurance recovery in the amount of $9,875 is expected prior to the end of the 21-22 budget year. Request City Council approve attached ordinance transferring said amount to the general fund to the special revenue fund. Just a question on that, Linda. Was this a result of an accident?
Yes.
What was the accident?
I think the garbage truck had been rear-ended.
And whose insurance is covering that?
The
Whose?
person that hit the garbage truck.
Were there charges filed, or?
I don't know if their charges were filed.
Anyone else have any questions on that?
Well, I guess I do. Was an insurance claim put in? Yes. Through your office?
We put the insurance claim to their
Through the controller's office or through the DPW?
to the
Just want to
DPW.
make sure it doesn't fall through the cracks. We got money coming from somebody else.
We handle, yeah, we just did all the
Okay.
paperwork. Chris Druzek handled most all the paperwork.
Okay.
Got any information? Yeah, the
All right, just tell Chris if something happens or he needs some help. let us
insurance
know.
was down. They looked over the truck.
Right, thank you. Anyone else on that item? All right, moving on to item number 14, again from City Controller. Advise the City Council that Ms. Marie Rutkowski, the arts and craft teacher at the Senior Center, has resigned her position effective June 29th, 2022, for receive and file. Linda, anything on that, or any questions from the council? Is she being replaced?
She's
It's my understanding the assistant is stepping up and taking
Oh,
over that.
excellent.
So it's kind of nice.
Transition.
Yep.
All right, moving on to item number 15 from the city clerk. Request City Council approve attached proposed change to City Code Chapter 31-12.1, Senior Bingo Inspector, and the two attached associated resolutions regarding the salary of bingo inspectors and the senior bingo inspector. The city attorney has approved the proposed change. In my opinion, I think it addresses a much needed adjustment and fairness and treatment of the bingo inspectors, and to be paid on a per diem more or less basis rather than straight salary. Is that my understanding, Mr. City Clerk?
It is, it's been uneven. The inspectors have been handling the inspections. Some do more than others, but yet they get paid the same because that's how the city salary structure is set up. So this is more to try to bring it fair. You do an inspection, you get paid. You don't do an inspection, you don't get paid.
And my understanding is you've been working on this for quite some time.
Yeah, because I had to, first of all, we lost some bingo halls, and I had to figure out a minimum number of inspections that were going to be handled per year. Then I had to base, how many inspections they did, come up with an hourly rate at an average inspection of 2 hours to keep it within the budget that we have allotted for that. So I think it works all the way around. And I had conversation with the senior bingo inspector who brought the issue to my attention, and it seems to be a satisfactory resolution to that.
I think it would appear that way. Any council members have any questions?
I was in Jeff's office the other day and we went over it, but like he said, they have to be on site to get paid, so it's a lot more fair than it was. So
We have three bingo inspectors, we have two, so-called bingo inspectors, and we have one, what I term a single inspector. And the city council actually made that part of the position a couple years ago, and what that does is she pretty much schedules bingo inspections, schedules the inspections, make sure that the paperwork being submitted is accurate, so that by the time we get it, you know, everything is in order. With regards to the resolutions, the bingo inspector would get $100 for every bingo inspection rate, and the single bingo inspector would get $125. So she gets a little bit more to oversee the operation.
Very good, thank you. Anyone else?
I want to thank Jeff for doing my job.
Nate does a lot of jobs around here. Mr. City Clerk, has there been any communications from citizens?
None received via email.
All right, very good. It's now approximately 3 minutes after 7. Unless we need a short, brief recess, I'll call the meeting to order, and if that's the case, I hereby call the Lackawanna City Council meeting of July 2022 to order, and I'd ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. City Clerk, would you take the roll, please?
Absolutely. Councilman Muflahi?
Present.
Anderson? Here. Councilman Moretti, I understand, has been excused.
Yes.
Councilman Sirdike? Present. Morano?
Here.
Department heads, law,
Here.
development,
Here.
public works, here, public safety,
Here.
controller,
Here.
recreation,
Here.
public information.
Here.
Hearings from citizens. Gene, can you hand me the sheet if anybody signs?
Should have just said no.
Okay, thanks, Jim. There are no communications
All right.
from citizens.
Moving on, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 21st, 2022.
Moreno moves to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of June 21st, 2022 is written.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of June 21st, 2022 is written. Klein?
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
3-4-0. Departmental reports 1 through 4.
Moreno moves to receive and file departmental reports 1 through 4.
Maflahe seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Muflahi to receive and file departmental reports 1 through 4. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
3-4-0. Item number 5, communications from the council. Council member Muflahi submits communication to the city council regarding the following. She submitted 2 communications. The first one will consist of 3 votes regarding the first item being the maintenance of the city fence. So I'll need a motion to receive, I'll need a motion from someone. I understand you're going to receive and file it
Receive
and
and file.
refer to the DPW and code enforcement.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
So you're making a motion.
Moreno seconds.
So I have a motion by, regarding the maintenance of the city fence, I have a motion by Muflahi, second by Morano to receive and file, and refer to the DPW and code enforcement. Muflahi,
Yes.
Anderson. Yes. Sirdike,
Yes.
Morano.
Yes.
Carried 4-0. Item number 2, the north end of Wilkes-Barre Street and City Street Light. Will be a receive and file, refer to the DPW, Law Department, and Development.
That is correct. Maflahe motions to receive and file and request response from DPW law enforcement.
Moreno seconds.
Motion by Muflahi, second by Morano to receive and file, refer to DPW, Law Enforcement, and Development. Muflahi,
Yes.
Anderson. Yes. Sirdike,
Yes.
Morano.
Yes.
Carried 4-0. Item number 3, the slaughterhouse. It's also going to be a receiving file referred to Code Enforcement, Development, and Law.
Maflahe moves to, motions to receive and file and request response from code enforcement, development, and law.
Moreno seconds.
I have a motion by Muflahi, second by Morano to receive and file, refer to Code Enforcement, Development, and the Law Department. Muflahi,
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Sirlik?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. Part 2 of Councilmember Muflahi's communication, concerns for raising safety awareness for children at play, as well as signage placement for children with autism.
Muflahi moves to receive, to table the agenda item and refer it to Traffic and Safety Department.
All right, so I have a motion by Muflahi, second by Anderson, to table this item, refer it to the soon-to-be reestablished Traffic Safety Board for advisement. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Sirlik?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. Communications from Division Department Heads, number 6. Director of Recreation requests the City Council approve the use of Galani Park on Monday, August 22nd, 2022 at 7 p.m. for a touring production of Shakespeare in Delaware Park. Proof of insurance is attached.
Muflahi moves to approve the request.
Morano seconds.
Motion by Muflahi, second by Morano to approve request. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Sirlik?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
3-4-0. Number 7, Director of Recreation requests the City Council approve the use of Victory Playground Soccer Mini Pitch by Independent Health Soccer for Success program every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from July 18th to September 9th, 2022. Proof of insurance is on file.
Muflahi moves to approve the request.
Motion by Muflahi, second by Anderson to approve request. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson? Sirlik?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. Item number 8. City Attorney requests the City Council authorize the mayor to execute the attached contract extension agreement between the city and Administrative Unit Local 815, Unit 6775-02. Complete text of the agreement is on file at the City Clerk's office.
Morano moves to approve the request.
Second.
Motion by Morano, second by Sirlik to approve request. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Sirlik?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
3-4-0. Number 9. City Attorney requests City Council to review, approve, and authorize the mayor to execute the attached CDBG agreement between the city and the County of Erie for the Cleveland Avenue paving project curb replacement. The agreement provides an additional CDBG funding to complete this project. The text of the agreement is on file at City Clerk's office.
Muflahi moves to approve the request.
Morano seconds.
Motion by Muflahi, second by Morano to approve request. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Sirlik?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. Number 10, Director of Public Safety requests the City Council approve the sale of the following police vehicles. All proceeds from the sale will be placed in the 22-23 police budget. New replacement vehicles will be purchased for the department. They involve both vehicles 2017 Ford Explorers.
Muflahi moves to approve the request.
Morano seconds.
Motion by Muflahi, second by Morano to approve request. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Sirlik?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
3-4-0. Number 11, Director of Public Safety requests City Council approval to sell the following police vehicle which has been previously purchased through the Federal Asset Forfeiture Fund statute. A new replacement vehicle will be purchased for the department under the same statute. All proceeds from the sale of this vehicle will be placed in the police department asset forfeiture account as required by federal statute and involves a 2009 Mercedes-Benz.
Morano moves to approve request.
Second.
Motion by Morano, second by Sirlik to approve request. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Sirlik?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
3-4-0. Item number 12, Director of Development and City Controller requests the City Council approve the attached ordinance creating a budget code for code enforcement vehicles, increase the budget code by $34,250, reduce the budget code for grant matching funds by $30,000, and reduce the budget code for demolition of buildings by $4,250.
Morano moves to receive and file act on ordinance.
Second.
Motion by Morano, second by Sirlik to receive and file act on ordinance. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Sirlik?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
3-4-0. That ordinance amending the 2021-2022 budget ordinance adopted May 18, 2021 by creating a budget code for code enforcement vehicles, increasing the budget code, that same budget code by $34,250, reducing the budget code for grant matching funds by $30,000, and reducing the budget code for demolition of buildings by $4,250.
Morano moves to adopt ordinance as written.
Second.
Motion by Morano, second by Sirlik to adopt ordinance as written. Muflahi?
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Sirlik?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
3-4-0. Item number 13, City Controller, in furtherance of the attached estimate of record from New York Municipal Insurance Reciprocal dated June 29, 2022. An insurance recovery in the amount of $9,875 is expected prior to the end of the 2021-22 budget year. Request the City Council approve the attached ordinance transferring $9,875 from the general fund to the special revenue fund.
Morano moves to receive and file act on ordinance.
Muflahi seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe, to receive and file act on ordinance. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. That ordinance amending the 2021-2022 budget ordinance adopted May 18, 2021 by transferring $9,875 from the general fund to the special revenue fund, repairs and replacements.
Morano moves to adopt ordinance as written.
Maflahe seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe, to adopt ordinance as written. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Passed 4-0. Number 14, City Controller advises the City Council that Mrs. Marie Rutkowski, the arts and crafts teacher at the Senior Center, has resigned her position effective June 29, 2022.
Morano moves to receive and file with a thank you to Ms. Marie Rutkowski for her service to our community for so long.
Maflahe seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Maflahe, to receive and file. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. Item number 15, City Clerk requests the City Council approve the attached proposed change to City Code Chapter 31-12.1 Senior Bingo Inspector and the 2 attached associated resolutions regarding the salary of bingo inspectors and the senior bingo inspector. The City Attorney has approved the proposed change.
Morano moves to receive and file act on proposed change to municipal code in both resolutions, of course, with the thanks to our city clerk for the work he did on this.
Second.
Motion by Morano, second by Sirdike, to receive and file act on proposed change to municipal code in both resolutions. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. First one, the language for municipal code, chapter 31-12.1 shall be amended and read as follows. The city clerk shall designate a senior bingo inspector from the municipal bingo inspectors appointed under section 31-11. Salary for this position shall be established by resolution of the city council. The remainder of section 31-12 regarding additional duties of the senior bingo inspector shall remain unchanged.
Morano moves to approve request city attorney to amend municipal code as written.
Second.
Motion by Morano, second by Sirdike, to approve request city attorney to amend municipal code as written. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. The first resolution, a resolution per municipal code, chapter 31, section 11, whereas the salaries of bingo inspectors shall be established by resolution of the city council, and whereas the city of Lackawanna hereby establishes the compensation for municipal bingo inspectors at $100 for each bingo event attended and witnessed by same.
Morano moves to adopt the resolution as written.
Second.
Motion by Morano, second by Sirdike, to adopt the resolution as written. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. The second resolution, as per municipal code, chapter 31, section 12.1, whereas the salary of the single bingo inspector shall be established by resolution of the city council, and whereas the city of Lackawanna hereby establishes the compensation for the municipal senior bingo inspector at $125 for each bingo event supervised, attended, and witnessed by same.
Morano moves to adopt resolution as written.
Second.
Motion by Morano, second by Sirdike, to adopt the resolution as written. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. Mr. Council President.
Are there no communications from citizens? I have a couple matters. I would ask Director Jennick and City Attorney Rick Judah. We had several discussions, and this is before Lauren was appointed as the Director of Development. There's an ongoing concern of that gas station at First Ward on Ridge Road. There seems to be a lack of any additional improvements over a lengthy period of time. This matter has been going on for an extended period of time. No activity again. We had discussions in the past about possibly amending our procedures to reflect a time period within which the structure must be fully approved and constructed, or suffer repeal of the permit, or any further bonding or forfeiture of bonds, that sort of thing. Do either you, Rick, or you, Lauren, have any update at this time of any progress made on that gas station?
So I know in the past when I think Mr. Ingram was a council person, there were discussion and issues regarding that. I'd have to go back and this is it. I didn't know this was coming up today. But I think Mr. Stanton may have written letters to the owners back then, so we'll check those letters. But it's my understanding the building permit's good for so long, it's my further understanding that I think at the last time this was brought up, we were gonna send a letter and said if the work wasn't completed, the city was gonna consider not reissuing the building permit. And I think that inspired them to finally finish the drainage or the sewer work that had to be done over there. So now that that's done, I don't know what the status is, but I will go back, I'll look at the letters, I'll go over with Lauren, and we'll give a report to the council.
Get a report for us the next meeting.
Well, we'll report immediately, we'll look at the file tomorrow and do an email. And then we'll probably send out a follow-up letter. If the building permit hasn't expired, we will probably advise them that if we're gonna reissue it again, they're gonna have to post a monetary bond.
And on another matter, Rick,
So I don't think we need any legislative action, I think we might already have the teeth to do that, but I will check.
okay, thank you.
Council President, if I may.
Yes, okay.
Although I know that the gas station is not completed by any means, there is activity of development. I drive by it every day. There's actually the shop next door, the corner, where they just put up brand new doors facing the gas station.
So they own that building also?
I don't know if they built it, but it is a two-part component of the gas station, because it's happening simultaneously with the development of the building or the refurbishing of it, if you may, as well as the structure of the gas station. There is activity. I know it was stagnant for a while, but there is activity.
Well, I drive by there frequently, and that's what caused it to be brought to my recollection. And I don't know if the building permit addresses the remedial work that's done on the building next door, but the subject work on the gas station itself, that seems to have stopped. And if it wasn't for the prodding of the development department and the law department, I don't think we'd have gotten this far. And this is taking an inordinate amount of time, in my opinion.
So maybe when I report to the council, if you know the developer, the owner, or somebody who might, maybe with your assistance, we can come to a happy ending for everybody.
I don't know them personally, but I can make a connection. I absolutely can.
Yeah. I mean, all we want is it finished and
Exactly.
yeah, sure.
Second question for you, Rick. What was the outcome or the final decision on our response to the state audit regarding the garbage issue case? Are we going to address a response to them? Do you remember? If not, would you make a note?
Yeah, I think I
refresh us on that.
Yeah, I will. Let me look at that tomorrow. I think I said I would draft something for the council to look at. Yeah, let's do that.
Just take a look at it. See what steps we were going to take in the future.
Yep, absolutely. And then the last thing was, I know at the last meeting, there was a young lady here who wanted us to pass some law. So I looked up RPAPL, which is Real Property Actions and Proceedings Law. It's the summary eviction statute. It's section 711-6. That section only applies to cities that have 1 million or more residents, but it basically provides it's a code section that says you can evict someone if they remove the batteries from an operable smoke alarm. Okay. So my point is, we don't need to take any legislative action on that. First of all, it's a statute, it's a state statute that doesn't apply to us.
Right.
But I think as a landlord, if you have a provision in your lease that says if you tamper or cause any unnecessary safety violations, that's cause for ejectment. Again, it's a private proceeding, and
that was part of the general discussion with her, and two things. One, she in fact brought up the fact that it pertained to a city of a population greater than what we have here, but she was asking that the council pass legislation nevertheless allowing this to happen. And then I suggested she put it in her lease as a violation of the terms of her lease.
Right.
For grounds of eviction. She says, no, there's some other provisions in the landlord-tenant law that call for delays to allow for something to happen in the event that it's discovered. I had never experienced that before myself. And to me, it just
well, certainly, you know, some municipalities and larger cities have administrative codes and statutes that govern all of that. But you know, the smaller cities like Lackawanna, we don't. And if we were to pass something like that,
Enforce it.
how are you gonna enforce it, number one? And number two, you better have the manpower to enforce it.
Because as we discussed last night, could be liability for the city if something happens. Okay,
I agree.
thank you. And then my final issue is for our Commissioner of Public Works. Tony, I received a phone message. I tried to return today. It was a phone message from today from a very irate citizen regarding replacing that streetlight on Elmview and Abbott Road. I tried to return her phone call. The number that she gave me, either I wrote it down wrong or it was the wrong number she gave me. Wasn't the person involved, but do you have any updates on the Sharon Parkway, South Park, and West Elmview and Abbott Road lights?
So I really don't have any updates as far as from the last time. I'm looking back at my emails now, and the latest I received was back in May, and the lead time for the polls was August 30th. Like we said, that, you know, we're probably not going to start repair work on it towards the end of summer. And there's not much we could do about the so-called supply chain. I don't believe in it myself, but something's holding up the materials.
All right, thank you. Any other council members wish to address anything?
If you do get the resident's number, you can give it to me and I'll take care of it.
Okay, I'll see if I can track it down. I tried looking it up again, but I couldn't get it before the meeting. Unless there's anything else, then Morano moves to adjourn.
Second. Motion by Morano, second by Sirdike to adjourn the meeting. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson? Yes. Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.